Yo.
What up? What up?
What is popping? Oof.
Dude, what are we on?
Week. Yo, 129.
Damn.
129. Let's go, man.
Let's go, man. After that 100, we just keep banging them down.
We senior citizens of the pod game. Let's go. And yet, I feel like we're still so new.
Still, we are, bro.
Oh,
we are.
man. Yeah.
But you know, now since 2023 has come, we're approaching year 3. Is that crazy?
What?
Right?
Yeah, we're like 2-3 months away, right, from year 3.
I think it's in May.
Yeah, you're right, man. Holy shit, dude. 3 years of meeting every week.
Yep.
Wow, man.
But if not for this, bro, like I wonder how many times we actually hook up.
Every important fight.
Yeah, you're probably right, bro.
And then maybe some not important ones. We just start making up excuses on fighting. We'd be like, Canelo got training. We got to link up and drink.
Yep. It's the weigh-in.
It's the weigh-in. Shit, you're right, though, man. Just at a minimum, we always said, like we'll have something to look back on and clown ourselves, but just the hang.
Yep.
It's just the hang, man.
Absolutely.
So I love it.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Common Footman Podcast. He is Juan, and I'm Sean, and every week we get together, have a few drinks, talk about things going on in the world, try to focus on things making an impact, whether they be good, bad, or otherwise. Hit him with the drink of the day.
Yo, man, listen, Sean always pull up here with the thotties and always got vodka and some kind of juice, or tequila and some kind of juice, and then the next day, it'd be making you feel good, and they delicious as hell, and I have like 16 of them, and then the next day, I feel, and then before the pod finishes, it be getting me feeling slutty, and then I just feel ashamed when I wake up the next day. So in the spirit of that, I wanted to make my own thotty. So this one's super simple, man. We did a shot of vodka, a shot of blue curacao, and then topped it off with lemonade. And I garnished it. I try to make it all fancy. I don't know if you guys can see that on YouTube, but I got a little strawberry and some blueberries in here.
Yeah, that is strictly for looks.
Yeah. It's just strictly for looks, and then we'll eat the fruit later on. You know, you gotta have the essential food groups, and then with your alcohol. But
gotta get your antioxidants in there.
I think I'm gonna call it the blue thotty, man.
All right, the blue thotty.
Blue thotty.
I was thinking the blue bitch.
We call it
We'll be a little clean.
Call it the walk of shame. But yeah, man, it's good, dude. It's super simple, man. And I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. And the reason I thought of like blue toddy or like something, I go, yo, this is like the drink that when you first start drinking, you could be a girl or a guy, but you know how you go somewhere and usually like cranberry vodka is the go-to when you first start drinking because it just looks pretty and like something you could consume. I feel like if you saw this walking by you and you're 21, you're like, I'll have one of those. Yep. It's like, so like, all right, we got to come up with one of those.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of stuff that we do on here, especially when it's like mixed with bourbon and stuff like that. Especially for women, bourbon is not typically like the favorite for women. You can find some out there that do like bourbon, but this right here, this would hit.
Nah, and whenever you find women that do drink whiskey or bourbon, you know they're about to be a problem.
Run away.
You're like, okay, this is gonna be fun, but you're about to be a problem. Oh man.
All right,
dude, what a week. What a week, man.
Crazy week, bro. But we're gonna start off with my carbon footprint.
Do it.
Mine of the week goes out to Shift Robotics, and I think you won't like this one, man.
Okay,
you won't like this
hit me with the Shift.
All right, Shift Robotics have created this thing that looks like a damn roller skate. They're called moonwalkers. Okay, and they call it the world's fastest shoes. And the idea of it is you put these things on and you walk. And how they're not like roller skates is it's made with robotics.
Okay.
And it has AI in it, so it kind of adjusts to how you walk but you walk normally, and if you can picture, you know those moving sidewalks in the airports.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's supposed to be the idea. So these things will get you going up to 6.8 miles per hour.
Damn, that's fast.
So you just walk though. So you're not roller skating. It's not that motion of roller skating. You literally walk.
Just walk.
And the thing and
it's like propelling you.
There's 10 wheels on the bottom of these things, and it's like you're on this platform. So it moves you like that, like in your normal walking motion. You're just going a lot faster.
Holy shit.
I thought it was really...
Dude, 6.8 is fast, dude.
That's fast.
Because the average human can walk, it's less than 2 miles an hour, right? Your normal walk as
The
a
normal
human.
walk speed, yeah. If you like trucking, you can probably get up to like 3 to 4 miles an hour if you're like moving, right?
Yeah, but I think a walking pace is...
But 6.8 miles an hour,
2.6
you're running.
Yeah, jeez, man. Wow.
Yeah, you're running. So the guy who started the company, and forgive me, I can't remember his name, but look up the website, Shift Robotics. This guy was saying that he used to ride a scooter to work, lived in the city, and he almost got hit by a car. And then he was thinking to himself, like, why don't I walk to work? And then he goes, oh, well, like, it takes too long. And, I don't walk fast enough. And I'd have to leave a lot earlier and all that stuff. And so it kind of gave him the idea. And so he teamed up with other engineers. One of them was like a jet propulsion engineer, a race car technician, and then a running shoe designer, all from like Carnegie Mellon.
Oh, wow.
And these guys put together this thing. And so it's not it's unlike a roller skate. You have your normal sneakers or shoes on. You strap these things, you sort of like step into them, strap them down, and you just start walking. And then
there's going to be people just blazing past us on the sidewalks.
That's it, bro.
Now.
Yeah. And so I saw a video on this thing, man, and people just walking normally. They walk normally, and it's just like they're like flying past people. So you gotta be, you have to also, know how to maneuver on these things. But it said that like within the first 10 steps, the AI already knows, oh, this is how you walk. So you train it to know, like, this is what I do. And the other thing that's cool is on your walk, do you have steps? No problem. As you begin to slow down your walk, it slows down as well. And then when you come to the stop, you almost like you turn like, and I don't know what exactly it is, but it's like you kind of pivot your heel, and then pivoting your heel kind of turns it off, and then you can climb the steps, and then you pivot your heel when you get to the top of the steps, and you just start walking, and the fucking thing takes off again.
So as I'm looking at videos, and there was a guy here. Sorry, I wanted to see what it looked like, man. I saw a guy here walking. It's called moonwalkers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, so they tested it on because it is made for sort of like urban areas. So they tested it in urban areas on like tough urban terrain, like cracked sidewalks and even gravel.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like New York City or all that stuff, you want to be able to do that.
Yep, and even gravel and so it's made to it's made for that kind of terrain. Now, what's the price on this thing? $1,400.
You know what though, man?
I think if you're in an urban area, bro, and you go like, I would prefer to walk. If you
live in New York City, I think, or Chicago or something, and you work downtown, wow, man.
They're moving, right?
Yeah, dude. And it's funny, it's not uncomfortably fast. It's a glide is the best way I can describe it, man. Yeah, if you guys are, I don't even know if I can show this without YouTube pulling a video, but yeah, just YouTube Shift Moonwalkers, and yeah, it literally looks like you're skating, but you're not. They're just walking normal pace.
Right.
This guy's like walking his dog with it.
Right. Oh, that was the other thing I thought was cool too. I was like, man, if you have a dog that's a high energy dog,
dude, my dog,
and you need to kind of burn that energy, and a lot of times for those of you who have dogs. If you're really high energy dogs, you leave the house and a lot of times the dog is wanting to pull because they need to run. Man, you have something like that and you could actually, you could run with the dog essentially and you're only walking.
Dude, do you think the barrier of entry to these, like I was looking at what you were saying, like you put your shoe into this and you just strap it on. Mm-hmm. Do you think that'll keep it from getting like from like a mass market appeal? I mean, I struggle with that because I think that we use scooters and we'll use a bike and we don't care. I think if you find a way but we also want the flexibility.
You think it's like fashion?
Yeah, well, I think we also want the flexibility though, because I was gonna say I think it'd be easy if you could just put on the shoes, right? But we also want the flexibility to wear whatever shoes we want.
That's what I think, especially if you're going to work.
Yeah,
like that's perfect.
No, man. You just got to make
as
it
long
smaller.
as it doesn't fuck up my shoes,
dude. This is cool because I don't even know how to describe it, bro. It looks like you're skating backwards. The best way I can describe the motion, right? Like, I don't know, like, because you're not gliding forward. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know how
No,
to.
the best way you can
moonwalk is a
describe
perfect
it.
way. It's like someone moonwalking, but forward.
But forward.
It's
Because
cool.
you're literally just walk.
Yeah, it's so cool. I do think, well, and like everything else, they'll figure out a way to make this smaller and fit the technology. So I think when they can make it smaller and smaller, it'll have a bigger appeal. But honestly, I don't know that this keeps me. Like you said, if I live in New York and I'm, first off, you pay for parking for a car, you're spending $600 or $700 a month.
Yep.
If a bus pass, a metro pass, also, and you would still get those things with this. I go $1,400 over something that you're potentially going to use every day. That's actually not bad.
It's not bad. That's true.
It's not bad at all, man. Because think about, I think one of your sons, don't they have like the terrain? Not the hoverboard,
one wheel.
The one wheel.
Yeah.
That's not cheap.
No, it was about a G.
It's about yeah. So
And that was like the lower model.
yes, right.
Yeah.
So and those aren't cheap, man. So I think $1,400 is probably that's actually a pretty, I guess, a reasonable entry point, man. To this,
Yeah.
shit looks cool. I'd buy it living here just to do it. Shit looks cool.
Well, you live in a good neighborhood, man, where you have a lot of sidewalks.
Yeah.
That actually work.
Yeah, and even in the streets, man. But I was thinking about the dog, where you were saying, like the dog, even like I have a high energy dog, and it's like I'll do, like a couple miles with him, but sometimes you're like in a rush, but obviously the dog can go forever. So you're like, man, you go on a 5-6 mile walk in 30 minutes or whatever it is with the dog, or an hour, or less than an hour. You're like, man, that's pretty damn cool, man.
That would be amazing for that, man. So shout out to those guys, man. Shift Robotics, look them up. Shift Moonwalkers is what it is. They're not available yet. I went to the website. You can pre-order them. They are $1,400, and I think with a deposit of $50, you can have one delivered to you by the summer.
Listen, I think these are absolutely going to be impactful, because if people were walking around in Heelys in the malls and the streets and all that stuff, like, they'll rock this, man. And I've seen people in Heelys all the time, especially in school. I remember down the hallways and shit. I could see this being a thing. How long before they're banned from schools? And then like, because people are like walking too fast in the hallways.
Yep.
That looks pretty cool, man. That is awesome. That is really cool.
All right, what you got?
Dude, I got my carbon footprint is, man, it touches on so many different things. Part of it is tech. Part of it is like your job. Part of it is privacy. Part of it is like, so let me get this story. So this Kelly Conlon, she's a senior associate for a New Jersey personal injury firm.
Okay.
And she was taking her daughter and her daughter's troop, it's like a Girl Scout troop, to watch the Rockettes at Radio City Music Hall.
Yeah.
So this was back in December. And when she's going into Radio City, security pulls her. And they tell her, hey, ma'am, you're not allowed here. You're actually banned from Radio City Music Hall. And so, of course, she's like, banned? Like, you guys are making a mistake, whatever. Right. And she's embarrassed because she's taking her daughter and these kids, and there's other parents who like did this field trip kind of thing with them. So anyway, so she lets the kids go see the show. They're like, yo, they can see the show, but you gotta go, you gotta leave. And she's like, can I wait outside? They're like, that's fine, but you can't be in here. Turns out, man, so Kelly Conlon is she's a senior associate with the personal injury firm. It's called Saperstein and Solomon, and they are representing a client that is suing a restaurant that is owned by MSG Entertainment. MSG Entertainment also owns Radio City Music Hall.
Wow.
The facial recognition software at Radio City Music Hall, which is one of their security measures, which I didn't know.
Right.
So they have a facial recognition software that picks out a person, goes, hey, beep, beep, this person's not supposed to be here. Security goes up, she's on a list.
Fuck
Dude,
out of here.
they put the entire firm.
So we're there.
Yes, we're there. Which I think we thought was like a government thing. I don't think a lot of us realize this is available for personal, private companies to use. Like, I think we've all recognized that there's cameras on the streets, so that the government has facial recognition software. I mean, it's on our phones, for God's sake. So why wouldn't it be available for this, right? So I just don't think a lot of us sit and think about this.
You just don't. Yeah, you don't think that you're walking into a public venue.
Yeah, but until so she's like, hey, I'm not even involved in that litigation, like my firm is, but they're like, it doesn't matter.
So they do tell her, like,
yeah, they told her why.
Okay.
You're on this list, and this is why. And basically, everyone
you're on a fucking terrorist list.
Yeah, dude. Dude, you got to think about this. Facial recognition software. That means someone has to go in and go, what's this firm? You pull every employee, and you have to upload that into a database somewhere or do a cross reference somewhere, right? And then you have to go red flag every time, dude. So you and I, like, so this makes it like dude, who you work for is now going to cost you. Like, because she's like, you're gonna do that. I just want to
she
go
might
see
be
the
a
rock.
fucking, she might be a
That's
fucking
fine.
janitor.
Bro, it doesn't matter. She's like, which I'm guessing that maybe her level had to do with it. But she's like, I got nothing to do with your case. I'm not working on that. But they're basically like anyone who works for this law firm who's suing a restaurant of theirs,
right?
Or not even suing. They're just representing a client who's suing.
Correct.
Yeah, she can't get into Radio City Music Hall.
That is insane.
And think about to find that. Like, I think if you knew that beforehand, like, hey, by the way,
then you make a
this,
decision. Yeah,
you as an attorney, they go, hey, you're not allowed to go anywhere that MSG Entertainment owns. And then maybe you can go, oh shit, they own Radio City, and maybe at that point you choose to take the risk of whether or not you think they'll catch you.
But then, do you have to go and do research on like who owns the place that you're walking into?
Think about how many cases are going on, and obviously not all the people you have cases against or with have the power that MSG does, or that they're not going to have that type of access and security. But man, how long before they all do?
Right.
And then I'm thinking about this.
How long until it's that cheap?
Dude, yeah, exactly. And so I'm looking at this and I'm going, man, like, okay, this is a privacy concern, because now this means that these people pulled up a director every, and I know that's not hard to find, but that means you're deliberately going out your way to find out who works at these firms. Then it's a technology thing, because I'm going, fuck, your facial recognition software shit works really well. Like, I'm like, man, the fact that you could spot this person in the crowd. And she goes like, yo, it was almost immediately of me entering the building. Right, so it's like, damn, and MSG's like, yeah, amongst other things, we use facial recognition software to keep our people safe.
A security guy is watching that camera and it's fucking pointing people out.
Fucking A, bro, not for nothing, but I'd also feel really good about going to an MSG venue right now, because I'm like, if you're spending money on that and you're that petty, like, I'm with it.
I'm coming to
your establishment, bro.
But then how, like you said, man, how long until you go, oh, well, you work for the competitor. We don't want you here.
We don't want you here. And it is a private institution. And it's funny, man. I actually was asking around about this and doing some research. And, it's the same thing we always get into. It's because it's a private entity. They have a right to refuse service to anyone they want.
Yeah.
So they can just go, nah, you work there. I don't need to let you into my venue. And I'm like I said, so like how long they can literally go, no, you work for so and so, I don't want to let you here. But so how long is it before it's a competitor, before it's someone they just don't like, they don't have to give you a reason. Hey, you're on a list of people who aren't allowed to be here. Sorry.
Right.
It's a private thing. I have my right to refuse service.
Oh man.
So like it just leaves a door open. It just leaves a door open for so many things, man. And you're like, okay, there's inevitably a lawsuit going to happen here along the way, but then that sort of teeters and infringes upon the whole private entity thing and who you're allowed to serve. And so it's like this thing touched so many things, man. And I was just like, bro, now when you're picking an employer, if you're an attorney, if you're her, you're like, shit, man, does that dictate what type of law firm you go to, which law firm you go to?
Right. And then like the law firm, like I wonder, does MSG tell the law firm, hey, you and everyone who works for you is no longer allowed here?
I think there was something.
I wonder if they let them know, or if they just go like, nah, fuck them. Like if they show up, we embarrass them by telling them you can't come in.
I want to say I didn't grab the full article here, but I want to say when I read the full article, there was something that let the lawyers working on that case knew. But she just works at the firm, so she's never actually read, I think, the terms and conditions and all that and all the agreements. So I think they knew, but she didn't know it sort of extended to her, or she didn't know it was a thing. But man, I'm like, fuck, man. Like you said, you work for a restaurant company. How long before a restaurant company can refuse service to you because of your level? Hey, if you're some executive, like we don't want you coming here, sort of like shopping us and whatever, or whatever excuse they use to like deny you service, but like. How long before anybody just does it?
Yeah, like you said, like an executive from a competitor.
Yeah, nope. Sorry, you're not allowed to be here because you were.
Yeah,
it's wild, man. It's just so many things, man. So many layers to this. Where I'm like, man, and then I'm going, the tech. How fucking good is that? That at the consumer, I shouldn't say consumer. It's still commercial, but at the consumer level, at sort of the public, available to the public, you have facial recognition software that is so good that this lady was in. And instantaneously security, like someone calls, it's like casino level security, right? Yes. Like casinos do this, where it's like, oh, so and so table this, blah blah blah, third chair, whatever. Right. Though, it's just getting so good. And I think this is something that we all thought was like available to just like governments and stuff. And now you're finding like, no, this shit's available for sale to people who can afford it. And
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it would get out of hand, first of all, the technology side I think is amazing. But I think if it gets out of hand, then people just start making decisions on who they want to spend their money with.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Tech is
right?
wild.
Because you can, if you start to do that shit, if you start to go overboard with that, and then the word gets out, we're living in this global economy right now, man, where businesses even need to be careful of how they step, because social media turns against you, and this shit will hurt your pockets.
Dude, but I think if you offer a good product, people stay, man. Like Chick-fil-A proved that.
Chick-fil-A don't give a fuck.
Chick-fil-A don't give a fuck, bro. Chick-fil-A was like, we hate them gays, and then they rolled out some bussin' ass chicken nuggets, and we're like, you guys have the right to feel that way. We're not saying it's okay, but we're saying it's America, and you have the right to feel that way. Give me a number 7.
They are closed on Sundays. Yeah. That's nice for the employees.
Yeah. You'd never, not even in an NFL stadium do they open on Sundays, and that's a business day. These guys are for Jesus.
At least they stand their ground.
Bro, I just proved their food is so good that we let the bigotry slide. You know how dope that Chick-fil-A sauce gotta be, where you're like, I don't know, man, maybe they're on to something.
Well, they don't mind the gays in this establishment. That must be the one over there by you.
You remember when they had the protesters and they started serving them food?
No.
They had protesters. And in true Chick-fil-A fashion, they had employees go out and give food to the protesters and water and shit like that, because they were out there like all day.
Yeah.
And they served them. My pleasure.
That's a Christian thing to do, bro. God damn it.
That's like
good for them.
Bro, I go, fuck, man. And how do you fight that? It's fucking genius. How do you get mad at that? You're like, hell no, we won't go. Yeah. And then they're like, would you like a club sandwich? Like, bet. Bro, fuck these fetuses.
Then they get quiet.
Yeah.
And you see people just start slowly walking off.
Like abortion, what? She should have wore a condom. Pass some nuggets over here. We don't give a fuck, bro.
These people are nice.
These people are so nice. Like, they just don't want babies to die. Have you had their lemonade?
Bro.
Oh my gosh, bro. We'll forgive you, man. Holy shit, man.
That's fucking great. Dude, you were telling me about some movie you went to go see over the weekend.
Dude, so my daughter turned 13 a few months ago, and she's like obsessed like with horror and stuff like that. Like she just wants to explore all the PG-13 stuff. And so she wanted to see her first like PG-13 sort of horror movie in theaters. Yeah. And so we watched Megan, which just came out this past weekend. Okay. So the movie Megan is like I guess it's like Chucky in the 21st, or I don't know what.
Ooh, yeah.
So think of like a Chucky, like a new age Chucky for our generation kind of thing. And so the premise of the movie is, without giving too much away, but the girls has an aunt. The aunt works for a toy company. The aunt sort of develops these toys, and she's sort of trying to come up with the next big thing. And the aunt develops this toy named Megan, which is a doll that's essentially a robot. And the doll that hangs out with you. But while she's hanging out with you, the more she hangs out with you, the more she learns about you, the more she learns about things around her, the better, quote unquote, the doll becomes. So like, she can, could start with the doll sitting there and like drawing with you, and then next thing you know, she's singing you songs for you to go to bed. She's reading you stories. She's like, the doll picks up on like, oh, your temperature's rising, let's get you the XYZ, you should be drinking lots of fluids, and that, and it gets very like motherly over time. Okay. But you have to think about, it's this doll, but it also has access to everything because it's online. So the doll can literally go and like look up, and then it just starts learning. And obviously the movie goes down this other rabbit hole where the doll like sort of almost like learns too much and starts like, sort of going against her protocols and all that type of stuff, and gets protective of the girl, blah, blah, blah. But like the part that sort of fascinated me that I couldn't help but think the whole movie is the girl becomes obsessed with this doll. and obsessed to the point of like how we are with our phones, or how you see kids with their phones or their tablets or thing. And I say kids, but honestly, it's all of us, right? Yeah. It's adults, it's thing. And so where we go, no, but my whole life is on this. Well, this doll was this girl's whole life. Like the doll, like you can have a conversation with her. She's like, she doesn't judge me, she doesn't think like. So you think about like, even for a guy, like if there's certain things that we won't talk to people about, but like, I'll talk to this fucking doll, the doll will respond. It's gonna probably give you intelligent feedback because it has all this data and all this readily available information. It might give you a diagnosis, whatever, like, right. But this it does everything. It becomes so useful,
and it won't argue with you.
Never. It shuts the fuck up if you tell it to.
Sound like the perfect girl.
Oh, it's amazing. So I can't wait till they come out with the sex dolls for this. Megan, shut the fuck up.
No, but to your point, man, and you know, kind of keeping with this like technology portion, man, is, dude, if you leave your phone at home and you drive away and you realize that you don't have your phone, you're turning around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's how we are. And you know what? I was thinking the other day, man, that I think we bought our kids phones when they turned 13. So they're all teenagers. They're 13 and 15. And there's a lot of days when I see them, like how much they're on the devices, and I go, fuck, did I introduce that too early? Because I know how it is from an adult perspective. Before we bought the phones for them, my wife and I were kind of battling, not each other, but battling the idea of, that they're gonna become like addicted to this thing. Like it's gonna happen. We already see that with adults. We see it with our teenage nieces and nephews, right? Like we've already see this happening, but also going. I don't want them to be behind either. I want them to understand the technology and be able to use the technology. Hopefully, not allow the technology to use them.
Yeah.
So it was that mix of like, when do we do it? Do we do it earlier? Do we wait? And I don't even know. I can't say that we did it at the right time, because I have seen it. I've seen my kids be on that device for hours.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of that. Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that. I also think, man, we can be hard on ourselves about it as well, because I think if you think about what devices the phones have replaced in our time, True. Like, morning newspaper aren't a thing, right? Because it's on your phone. Your banking, it's on your phone. Your email, so like think about your communications, your all that. Like, obviously web searching, for work. So I go, there's so many. I think when I look at the usage of the phone and people are like, yeah, you look at your phone usage, it said you were on for 7 hours a day or whatever that is. It's like, that sounds alarming in theory, but if you start breaking down all the things that over time you've replaced it with, like if you're someone who goes to the gym, how many apps do you have on your phone that have workouts and have, things? If you're, if you're a person who sat down every morning for 30 to 45 minutes and you read the newspaper and you had your coffee, well, now it's on your phone. If you logged into work and you had to check your emails and the other stuff, and now you're like doing that on your phone. So
there's so many different things.
Yeah.
And if you go back through history, right? And this is where you sort of contradict yourself when you go like, oh, we're addicted, and it's not good for you, what have you. They said the same thing about books. They said the same thing about the newspaper. They said the same thing about radio. They said the same thing about television. Yeah. So obviously
music. All
right.
of it.
So we're in the age of the phones, and to go back to your movie, it's like we're not too far from that.
Oh, no, I think it's funny, man. I'm looking at this doll thing and I go, oh, this is totally possible. In fact, I think it'll be a reality in our lifetime. I should say our time. Very soon. I think within the next 5 years, this will be a reality where some kids, because you already see it. We have robots and we have things that'll talk and interact and all that stuff. But
our
Alexas and all
AI is on a different level right now, man. It's only going to get better. And so when you have something like that in the household, whether it looks looks like a human or not, dude, I've been playing around with that what is it, the chat GPT?
The chat GPT, yeah.
Holy shit, dude. So the other day I was my son had to write a couple essays, and that's immediately what I thought of. And I actually typed in just on my own what he was writing about, and the shit wrote me the paragraphs in a matter of a few seconds. And I'm going, yo, wait until these kids realize that they can do this.
Yeah, and someone does it for free and accessible. Because ChatGPT you have to pay for right now, right?
No,
you have to buy. I thought you had to buy a certain amount of things a day, though. Like you can't do X amount of commands per day.
I don't know. It hasn't charged me
you anything.
No,
Okay.
but I don't use it a lot either.
Okay.
But I'm just going like I have one of my sons who kind of he tries to, as he says, work smarter, not harder. The dude tries to escape, tries to get tries to snake his way out of things and whatever, right? I go, yo, wait until, and he knows that it's available. I don't think he's ever used it. Next year, bro.
And probably just doesn't know yet.
Year.
Yeah, it'll be the
it's
TikTok.
It's gonna be
some TikTok will go viral, somebody using it, and they'll think, dude, I don't even know if I shared this with you. The other day, typically we go the day after the pod, you and I go through our edits and we try to think of a title, we try to do this stuff.
Yep.
After we had come with a title, we released the episode, I went on there and I went, podcast about, and I just gave it a quick description about what we wrote. Give me title ideas. And it shot back titles that I'm like, fuck, we could have used some of those. They were good. Yeah. And it gave me like suggestions for titles, and I'm like, man, these were actually pretty good. And I was like, holy shit! All I did, and I forget what it was. It was like, podcast about man beating wife with Christmas tree, and this and this and this.
Right.
Give me a title for an episode, and it was like in like a second, it came back with a few. Damn. It was so bizarre, and I was like, and some of them I was like, oh shit, that would have been good. It was just like,
that's better than
what we thought it was.
Like half of them were better than ours.
Yeah, it's like damn. But you go, and even I've heard people say that it's coming up with scripts for their YouTube videos. They're like, I want to do an episode or a YouTube thing on blah, 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 and it'll just give them a script, and now they have to just go film it and do the stuff. But, like, I'm hearing a lot of even content creators are starting to use it for to a content, because the other part is, like, you get unique things. Like, it won't ever give you the same thing twice, because I guess it's also somehow doing
and
that.
And that's the thing, right? So even as it scales, and if you have multiple kids in a class all using it for the same assignment, they'll all get different results.
Dude, I like this because I think what it does is it puts less emphasis on the originality of writing a paper, and it forces you as an educator to go, are my kids actually learning this? How do you test that someone's actually learned this, and application and execution versus can you memorize this? Can you write a paper on, whatever, World War II? Can you write a paper on this about, what? And like most of us, at least for me, you just go through the motions so you get your grade. You're not actually ever being educated, and it's
or being
a lot
thoughtful
of that.
about it.
Or right, and a lot of that's our own faults, right? We're just not engaged. But I think that engagement also has to do with the teacher, with the environment, with whatever, right? So I think what this does is hopefully, because a lot of people I saw like a lot of stuff online that they were saying like how kids can cheat, you can come up with different papers, you can come up with this and that. I go, yeah, but that doesn't mean people stop learning. Now you're just worried about your assignment that you're giving out.
Correct.
You're gonna get fake stuff back. Like, go get creative with what you provide.
Yeah, you have to shift.
You have to shift, right? And then you work in this environment. Like, we live in an environment now where everyone has the answer to everything at their fingertips, and somehow some people will argue that we're dumber, but it's like, I don't know that we're dumber in the sense of we just have the answer to everything, so we can find it out if we don't know it. It's not so much that, maybe we're not storing it there out of the gate.
You just don't store it, right?
Yeah. And I don't know if that's better or worse. Like, time will tell.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do find that people that are more sort of more well read, right? Like, they're more interesting in conversations. If more well read or well traveled, or you know what I mean?
1,000%. Yeah. I find the same thing. I also think that has a lot to do with the parts of your brain that you engage when you do read, when you do travel, when you do have conversations, when you do, like, you can't replicate that. The like sort of the muscle, the exercise you're giving your brain, like the flex that it's doing when you're reading. Because I don't know if you feel this, I find that, like, whenever I read, and if I read consistently, I even feel quicker on my feet. Like, I feel like whether it's work, whether it's personal life, whether it's whatever it is, like, I feel like even my thoughts, like, come to me sort of more concise. Like, I can construct my thoughts better. But if I go a long time without that, it's almost like I struggle to even like, dude, a perfect example, when I was writing, trying to write like stand up a lot, and I went through all these like multiple iterations of like trying to write jokes and whatever, because I didn't know, I still don't know what I'm doing, but like, it's like I didn't, and I feel like in a lot of ways I haven't found what works for me. But what I did know and I did catch on to quickly is if I did read a lot, like if I read a lot of news and I read a lot of books and I read a lot of stuff, things would flow to me faster, and my thought processes were like I found it easier to sort of like organize them and write it out, or at least think it out, versus if I go a long time without doing it, I get these mental blocks, and it's like, man, it just, you know, it's that like cliche of like it's a muscle. If you don't flex it, it loses its thing. It certainly feels like that for me, man.
And I can attest to that from in 2021, I made it a point that almost like what we're doing now, write a book a month, which by the way I haven't started, but I gotta catch up.
I got the book.
I gotta catch up. But a book a month, right? And I did that for a year, and then in 2022 I stopped. And what I noticed was that in 2021, while I was reading, randomly I would get thoughts about stuff, but like long drawn out thoughts on things, and I would grab a journal and just write it out.
What?
In 2022, I didn't have that at all.
Yeah, dude, it works, man.
So there's definitely something to it.
Because even, like I said, if I was trying to write a bit, it would flow out, like you said, the thought, and I'd be like, oh, man, and
it would just be going.
And it would just be going.
Yep.
And not that I could write 3 pages, and maybe I'm going to use 2 sentences.
Yep.
But I would write it all out, and I had like an endless flow, it felt like, of that idea for that particular thing, versus the like the writer's block thing that then I've come to realize, for me, just don't write when you're in that, like, don't force it, because nothing's gonna come out of it. You're just gonna so man, I it's gonna be interesting, man. Tech is so wild, and while it makes a lot of things better, it's also going to put us at a disadvantage in ways that we don't know yet. Like, I don't know what those are yet, but I feel like as humans, we're going to be at a disadvantage somewhere.
Perhaps.
But then you go, but everyone is, so maybe not. You know, it's right. That whole thing.
But I think it also put us in advantages in other places.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like you go, hey, if I don't know how to change a bike tire, like my kid doesn't know how to change a bike tire, but I don't know, they can figure out the cure to something, or, you know, learn how to program this. That's why, like, which one's more valuable long term?
Yeah.
You go,
and you know, though your kids will also go, oh, how to change a bike tire, and type it into YouTube, and then watch the video and figure it out on the fly. So,
dude, it's so funny, man. I went down this rabbit hole earlier today of looking up things for my car. I went to get it serviced this past weekend, and so I got the service, did a bunch of stuff, and then they came back with like, hey, you have to do these few things, and sort of they give you the quotes. And normally I'm just like, yeah, fucking do it. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds too high for this, you know, that's reasonable. So I started going down the YouTube rabbit hole, like, what do you have to do to do this? And I'm looking at it going like, okay, it's taking this YouTuber 2 hours, blah, blah, blah. It's like, is the 8 hours I'm being charged for over here, like, reasonable and stuff like that? And it's just so funny, man, because I'm going, how many industries has this changed? Like, there's some things that I saw in there that I'm like, I could do that myself. It's going to take me 20, 30 minutes and I'll save the $800.
Right.
And then you just go, how many industries, like, has this started to sort of impact, where the whole DIY thing, where people can look at stuff and just go,
dude, I don't know how much it's impacted them, but I've done the exact thing with my car, where I'll go like, oh yeah, I can do that, or I'll look at it and go like, oh yeah, fuck that, I'm not doing that.
And I did that for a few things. I went, yeah, nah, I'll pay you guys that to do it. Like, I looked at some of the videos and I went, yeah, worth it. Like, it's funny, man, it could be like 30 seconds in and they'll do like step 2 and I'm like, yeah, fuck that. I'm like, all right, you earned the $1,200.
Bro, I forgot what it was, man. I saw something, it was probably in the last couple of years. I wish I could remember what it was, but I remember I watched the video all the way through and I go, no way. I'm like, worth every freaking penny, man.
Yeah, I did that too, man. I went, worth it. I found where it wasn't worth it. It's funny. It's the things that are normal for any car, like things like spark plugs, or like these random like belt changes, like the alternator belts and stuff. Yeah. I'm like, okay, and none of them were hard to access. None of them had like weird tools. None of them and I'm just like, it's literally the branding why they're charging you more. And I went, yeah, I can change that and save a lot of money and all that stuff. And then some of it I went, yeah, I'm not touching it. It was like, that shit look complicated. I was like, nope.
Let me tell you who needed some AI or technology this weekend or yesterday. Fucking TCU. You watched that game last night? They needed some AI, bro.
Alexa, what play should we call? Alexa, how do you slow down the Georgia Bulldogs?
For those of you who did not see, the national championship of college football was on yesterday. Georgia Bulldogs against the TCU. What the hell are they called?
Horn Frogs?
Horn Frogs?
I think they're calling the
Horn
Horn
Toads?
Frogs right now, but yeah,
Are they Horn Toads?
Horn
Frogs?
I think it's
don't
frogs.
know.
I think it is
They
frogs. The Horn
Yeah,
Frog.
yeah,
Because people were calling them the Horn Frogs last night on Twitter. Twitter never does.
Man, they got destroyed. What was it? 50 something to
65 to 7. Was it you that I was saying they're going to break? No, maybe it was my brother. I was like, this shit ain't going to be close. I didn't think this, but I just like, this shit's going to be a slaughter. Like, it's not even
It was
going to be.
really bad, man. And I started thinking, like, so the college football playoffs are going to expand soon
Yeah.
to like 8 teams or some shit.
Yeah, which I think.
I don't think it's a good idea anymore, bro.
So it's funny, man, that you say that because I didn't think so. But what I think now, this has actually changed my mind, and I'll tell you why. I think had that been instilled this year, you get an Alabama, you get LSU, you get potentially USC, and then
You will get USC.
And then, so what'll happen is that they'll beat the brakes out of TCU earlier in the tournament, and then you end up with the 2 teams that should have been in there in the first place in that national title game. Maybe. I still think generally we get it right. The top 4 are usually
They're usually good,
right.
man.
Yeah, and even 1 and 2, man. I'll say when it was just, hey, whoever's ranked 1 and 2 is going to play each other. Yeah. I felt like they got that right a lot of the times too, man. Yep. Because yesterday I'm going, sure miss Alabama being in this shit right now, and I know Alabama lost to Georgia last year, right? Was it Alabama that lost to them, or was it Clemson? No, but I mean in the national title game.
Oh,
was it Alabama that they beat last year? Because Georgia's won back-to-back now, which I forgot about. So, or did they beat Ohio? No, they beat Ohio State. They beat Ohio State last year.
So they beat Ohio State this year and last year?
I think they beat Ohio State in the national title game last year.
Let me see.
I could be way off on that. I'm like, just put the 4 top teams in the SEC in this shit and call it a day. Like, and I don't care if it's a 2 or 3 loss Alabama. I don't care if LSU lost twice. Just give me athletes versus athletes, bro. Like, dude, TCU doesn't have a top 30 recruiting class. Top 30, not top 30. And I understand, listen, they had a good season. You can't take that away from them, but so they beat Bama.
Bama, 33-18.
Okay, so you go, it's still a far more competitive game than this. And then I just feel like, listen, TCU had a great year. There's some, they're kids, man, so you don't want to knock them too harsh. But you just go, you can't have they don't even have a top 30 recruiting class. How many NFL guys are coming out of that TCU team? Maybe 1, whereas Georgia's probably getting the entire defense. And then from the looks of it yesterday, which, bro, by the way, the quarterback from Georgia, this motherfucker's an adult. Like, he got a mortgage and everything. This dude old. Yeah. I don't know. Stetson Bennett, old as fuck.
Well, he's not even in like the top 5 quarterbacks.
No, and he's not gonna be. He's not gonna be a good NFL quarterback either. I don't think.
Well, dude, they're talking about Bryce Young being so just kind of like going to like NFL a little bit.
Yeah.
So Bears are getting number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lovey Smith.
Thank you, Lovey.
We still love you.
He's a bear through. He said, "Nah, we going for it. We gonna win this game."
So. But there's talk about the Bears giving up Fields.
No way.
And then like trading him, getting more picks, and then picking up Bryce Young. I'm like, Bryce Young is about $185 soaking wet.
He's Fields.
No,
I mean, Fields came from the same system.
Is a big dude.
No, but I mean, as far as play style goes, he's the same school, same system, same.
No, Fields is from Ohio State, bro.
But isn't Bryce? Oh, Bryce Young is the Alabama kid. Why am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Barrett. Is it Barrett? That's at
Is it RJ Barrett?
No,
that's basketball.
I was thinking the same thing too. Though. I'm like, wait, no, you're right. Yeah, I got him.
But Bryce Young is not
an NFL guy, man. I would say you guys are in good hands. I think Justin Fields is going to be great, man.
Bro. I think he's going to be good, bro.
Yeah, I think he's going to be good. He's fun to watch. At a minimum, he's so fun to watch. And I think he's going to be good. I didn't think he was going to be good going in. I've watched him enough now where I go, I think he's going to be fine. He's not the problem with that team right now.
Right.
He's at least entertaining. I think he's going to be fine. Dude, the Bama quarterback's never, whenever your team is full of the top like, players at that position, I just question sort of like how good are you really, like your grit.
So do you think that about Stetson Bennett? I mean, that dude 2 back-to-back national championships with 2 different teams, right? Because they lost a lot of guys.
I think there's a reason that Bennett is 25 and he's still in college football.
Oh.
I think that,
he's not a big kid.
He's 5'11", and he weighs like 170 pounds.
Okay, so that's what Bryce Young is 6 foot, and I think he's like a $190.
Yeah. Stetson is that.
But dude, they clocked him running like 22 miles per hour, bro.
Who, Stetson Bennett?
Yeah,
that's pretty quick for a white boy. Nah, he's wearing these moonwalkers. Fuck that, he's wearing these moonwalkers.
Shout out to Shift Robotics.
Imagine, that's his first endorsement deal. Like trying to escape the sack. Try shift her. Bro, there's this fucking kid is 25. He's 25.
Oh, wow.
He's as old as Lamar Jackson. He's older than Justin Fields. He's old, bro. He's in the like he's still in college because however his thing worked is he went to Georgia as a redshirt freshman. He then transferred to a junior college, goes back to Georgia. So transfers to junior college for a season, transfers back to Georgia, kept his eligibility. So he's still. But I'm like,
you don't think anybody takes him?
No, somebody will take a shot on him. I think whether he goes undrafted or like in the 6th or 7th round, I think somebody will pick him up, right? Because maybe he's got some intangibles in there, like some leadership and whatever. Yeah. I just go, there's a reason, bro, that you're 25 and you're still in college. You're not playing college football at 25 by choice, bro.
Dude, who's the guy that used to be at like? I want to say Oklahoma State or
Wheeler.
Whedon.
Yeah, homie was like 32. This motherfucker had kids. He was going to PTA meetings and shit.
He couldn't enlist in the Army anymore.
Bro, did he end up we going to the Cowboys or the Bengals? Somebody
I don't remember.
Bad at that time. Yeah. I remember that, man. Oklahoma, I forgot about that shit, man. That's so. Yeah, that dude was like 27 or something.
No, I think he was 30,
bro. I think you're right, bro. He just dude had a job. He went back to college, like night school, and tried out.
Didn't he play baseball or some shit? And that's what it was. And then he went back into college to play football.
Yeah,
but I'm looking around at the NFL quarterbacks, like the names.
Yeah,
they're not small guys, man. You know,
the guys who make it aren't small, bro. Drew Brees is the exception, not the rule, man.
And dude, look at Tua. I think that guy's a good talent, but definitely is an example of, it's a different game in the NFL, and these dudes are big and they're fast. You got these 6'5", 300-pound guys running a 4.4.
Yeah.
That shit hurts.
That shit hurts, bro. And you go, and it's a different ballgame. You look like someone like Lamar Jackson with his athletic ability and how fast he is and all that. And you go, there's linebackers in the NFL keeping up with this guy.
Yeah.
Like, it's a different beast, man. It's a different, like, and you said, not only are they 300 pounds, but they're just as fast. They're hitting you with force. It's like, I just think that you can't be 5'11". Listen, and the occasional guy's going to slip through, but I think you're seeing it. Russell Wilson has struggled, like, I think,
and I think he's right at like 5'11".
Yeah,
right?
They list him at 5'11". I think that's what heels on, bro. Russell Wilson looks tiny, and he's but Pete Carroll obviously knew how to coach him and call the right plays and whatever, because you're seeing what Geno's doing.
Like a fucking genius.
Oh
right
my
now,
god,
bro. Geno just broke the single season record at Seattle.
Dude, what you think about? They had Matt Hasselbeck, who had some great years there. Yep. They had a decade of Russell Wilson, which, listen, I don't think Russell Wilson's a scrub. I just didn't think Russell Wilson was what
as
people
good as
were saying.
Yeah.
And the fact that Russell Wilson didn't hold that record shocked me. I thought, or hadn't gone over the was it 4,200 yards or something that he threw for this season?
I'm not sure what
it was. Crazy, man. But I think, Drew Brees, right, is like one of the ones that stands out the most. Or he's a small guy and had a prolific career, right? Just one of the greats. You think of like Doug Flutie, small guy, had a decent career. But other than that, bro, Aaron Rodgers is a big boy.
He only had a decent career in Canada. Remember, he came.
Yeah, that's true. He didn't even have like a great career in Buffalo.
He started in the NFL. He couldn't do well there. He went to Canada and he kind of owned it in Canada, and then came back in his later years.
Dude, hey, can you think about Joe Burrow? Big, thick kid, like strong. You think about dude, I would say the kid that's struggling for the Jets, Zach Wilson, tiny. Doesn't
Is he small?
Fragile. He's. I think he might be a little bit taller, but he's skinny, he's scrawny. He gets beat up. He's just like he's super fragile. He gets hurt. You said Tua, small guy gets up, but Tua, I would say small guy, also used to being on a team with studs. Again, I didn't think Tua was a. I think Tua was an NFL quarterback, probably a backup, not a. Probably not going to lead you to a Super Bowl. I mean, maybe with the right coach and you can turn him into a game manager. Like that coach at Miami has worked wonders with Tua right now, and maybe that's what you need.
No, but and Tua's good, bro. He's just small.
And so
you got like Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is what? He's like 6'6".
He's huge, dude. Ryan Tannehill for the Titans, who had an injury-prone career, but he's like 6'5", 6'6"
really?
too, man. And you go, and he's had an injury-plagued career, but has had like 4 or 5 good seasons with the Titans where he's been available up until these last few weeks. But also, big guy, can take hits. You know, he doesn't get hurt a lot. Mariota, man, was a big guy, and he used to get hit a lot.
Is he really?
Mariota's huge, man. And
he doesn't look big on the field.
He doesn't. He's just scrawny. So the thing of Mariota is like, yeah, he's a skinnier kid, but then he started putting on weight later in his career, and you're like, okay, he's starting to thicken out a little bit.
He got benched in Alabama, in Atlanta too, man.
He walked away from the team, man.
But Josh Allen, huge guy, right?
Big guy. Yeah, you have to be, dude. I think the wear and tear, man. Even if you step away from the NFL for a minute, man. LeBron James, bro. LeBron James. You see what he looks like at 38. But he's a massive guy. He's kept himself in spectacular shape. And then you just look at how he's built. LeBron James has been, and I hear this as people are knocking him because he's about to get or did he break it already? The scoring title. He's gonna be Kareem scoring.
I think he has like a few hundred points.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, that's a longevity award, because he's been in the league so long, and that's why he's getting it. I go,
whatever, man.
Yeah, that also says something about him.
That's
like
right.
You're available for that long, and you're playing at this high of a level. Yep. Like, dude, Jordan.
He's still the best guy on that team.
Yeah, at 38, 39 years old, whatever. He just turned 38, is it?
38.
39. Yeah. And, like, he's still the best guy on that team. He's still dunking. You seen the ridiculous dunk he pulled off the other day, like some crazy windmill, and I'm like, he's doing this at 38?
Yeah. Dude, I found it fascinating, bro, that I've been watching him for 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, I watched him, and remember in his senior year in high school, ESPN was televising his games. And I watched a few of them that they televised, and just remember thinking like, wow, man, like this high school kid is going to be like a phenom in the NBA.
Oh,
right?
he's the next Jordan. People were like,
20 years, bro.
That's insane. Dude, I remember that.
Crazy.
I was in high school, and he was like, I remember buying the jersey when him and Carmelo came out.
Oh, that's
Same
right.
draft. I mean, a lot of people came out of that draft, but they were the two like big names.
Yeah.
And but
Carmelo, did he only play 1 year in Syracuse?
Yeah, won a national title, and then
NBA.
And then this is like the old Colin Cowherd take where he's like, availability should be sort of factored into your greatness, where it's like, and dude, I mean, if you think about MJ, how long of a career would Jordan have had if he didn't smoke and drink and do all that shit during the season and all that stuff?
True,
like,
man.
you think about Jordan, where it's like he was always sort of, physical specimen. Jordan wasn't small. I think he was 6'6" also, and he was like a big guy, big hands, like long wingspan and all that stuff. But you go, how much of his career would he have just been? How long could he have played and just been at the top of his game if he was, if he took care of himself the way LeBron takes care of himself, or even like a Russell Wilson takes care of himself and all these guys? Because you go, Jordan used to smoke and drink like nights before games and be up all night and do all this. Like, you couldn't get away with that now, but people never knock Jordan for that, where you just go, because he won the titles, because he was that good, and because we didn't see it. Yeah, but Jordan in today's era, we'd be like, man, he doesn't care. What a wasted talent. He could have had 10 rings. You know what I mean? Like, we never say that about Jordan, which could be the case. Like, if he didn't have walked away and quit on his team and to go play baseball like a punk, he would have probably had 2 more rings. And then, you know what I mean? Like, we never, but dude, if LeBron does that in this day and age and all that stuff, we'd be like, oh, look at LeBron quitting on his team. He left out of, what, and then look at LeBron drinking the night before a playoff game. And that's, how many times Jordan lit in Atlantic City the night before dropping 50 on the Knicks
with a fever,
and some food poisoning and shit. He was just a different breed, man. But yeah, I think the availability thing, man, is huge. And I think in football, man, these quarterbacks, you said you have to be built for it. You have to be built to take this punishment. Some of these guys are not, man. I think Fields, man, is another one. He's a big kid.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's a big kid. He's athletic, but he's thick, man. He's going to take these shots. So.
And that's the thing, man. When you have, especially when you have a team that doesn't have a good O-line, like, you don't want a small dude back there. He's going to get creamed.
He's going to get creamed, man.
Speaking of quarterbacks, man, fuck Aaron Rodgers. for the third year in a row,
Okay,
bitches.
Aaron Rodgers. Hey, that's the future quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. You watch your mouth.
Maybe I won't talk bad about him next year. Then.
When he's out of the NFC.
When he's out of NFC North. Dude, Aaron Rodgers,
my
not for nothing, man.
gosh,
And I have like a love-hate relationship with this guy, man, because obviously being a Bears fan, I hate the Packers. But having had the opportunity to watch this guy play over his career, I've hated it and loved it at the same time because he's done some amazing shit. But for as great as he is, this guy in the last 3 years has lost at home in a crucial game that would have taken him to the playoffs. So he just lost this week. He lost to Tom Brady in, I think, the divisional.
Yeah.
Right? And then they lost to for the 49ers and Jimmy G.
In their first round.
And they were
year,
all
right?
three in Green Bay.
In Green Bay. And last year we were shocked. The Niners went into there and just took it.
It was snowing and
it was
shit,
snowing
right?
and shit.
I think it was Robbie Gold. Robbie Gold went in there, man, from a Bear.
Yep.
Went in there and kicked the game winning, and then they had the mic on him. He was like, "Fuck the Packers."
Yeah, fuck the That was so good. I love that. I was like, Robbie Gold, a Bear through and through, though. That was such a Bear thing. Dude, I don't. And it's funny, man, because I think with him, the critique is like you can't blame the team around him because he has sort of shrunken in those moments. Like he hasn't played well. Like it's not like guys are dropping balls or like right. He's thrown crucial picks and he's done.
Yep.
Didn't come.
And he did it in this game.
And the bomb he threw at the end that was a pick was a horrible throw.
Yeah.
And I get why you're taking your shot, but it's just an uncharacteristically bad mistake that he doesn't throw. Week 12. Right.
And that safety on Detroit has his number. That guy's a rookie.
Oh, yeah, and he's picked them off
a
3
few
times. I think this season or something like that.
Crazy.
Could have had 3.
4.
Yeah, or 4.
I thought they could have had 4.
Yeah, you're right because I think he picked them off the first time they met,
yep.
And so he could have had off of Aaron Rodgers. He's got him, man, and. I don't know, man. I don't know how much it is. That team started clicking later, and Aaron is notorious for the whole he doesn't do
keep it
off-season shit
relax,
anymore.
Relax.
Yeah, relax, we'll be fine. Blah, blah, blah. And you go yo, y'all caught fire, but you go, if you take this serious sooner, you don't need that last game potentially against the Lions to get into the playoffs, right? Maybe you have 2 more wins in there, and this doesn't matter,
right?
I don't know, man. And then there's a lot of talk about his future. Do you think he's done in Green Bay?
It looks that way because I kind of felt like the numbers that he put up this year, you could have did that with Jordan Love.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is Jordan Love maybe making, the throws that this guy's making? No. But not you could miss the playoffs with Jordan Love.
Yeah, it's just like you could go 7-10 with him too, and then whatever.
It's just like, I think they were 8. Were they 8-8 or 8-9?
Yeah, I think 8-9. They were under 500. Yeah, because I remember the Lions trolling them over the under 500 thing. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
Oh, yeah, they came up. The Lions dropped this whole, and then Dan Campbell, they dropped this whole thing on social media about they kept taking these snippets of Aaron Rodgers saying shit.
Yeah.
And then it was basically like ripping them for being, and they're like, where he's like actually bad mouthing even the Lions, and then like, that team, or like this team's under 500 or that. And then they kept showing their record at the end of the season. So that's the only reason I know is because that shit was hilarious.
That's dope. Well, Dan Campbell, and I want to say when they interviewed him, wasn't it like after halftime?
Yeah.
Was when they were like, how do you keep your team motivated? And he goes, I told my guys today, we are going to the playoffs or they're not going to the playoffs.
Either way, I want to win. I love that though. Yo, I don't like that guy as a coach, but there is no one more perfect than that city, man. Yes, it's so true. Like I don't know that I want him, coaching the Rams or the Chargers or the Giants even. But I go, that guy works for Detroit, man. Yeah. He's such a that blue collar, just roll up your sleeve. We gonna talk shit. It's gonna get ugly and dirty, but we gonna get the job done.
Yep.
Like that's so Detroit.
I love it, man.
He's grown on me, man, for sure. That's such a Detroit thing for him, man. I really do like it, man. I went to the game Saturday. It was a little heartbreak for me. I went to the Titans and Jags game.
Yes,
essentially
man.
A playoff game.
I was looking for you there.
Listen, man. We had decent seats, man. We could have been on TV a couple times. I don't know. No one told me that they saw us. But I will say it was the first time I've seen Jacksonville that turned up for a game. I've been there a lot. I've never seen it untarped in the upper deck, and my brother thought I was just talking shit. And while we're walking at the end of the game to the car, there's a Jags fan. This is an older guy. He's like walking with us, and he just starts talking to us, and he basically says like, I've owned he's told us I've had season tickets since their first season, which is like 90s, like sometime in the 90s. Like I've been coming here, and I go, hey, when did they remove the tarps? Like I'm just talking shit, and he goes, I've never seen this place this full. I've never seen. This is the first time. He was like, I've been coming here for over 20 years. I've never seen this full. I've never seen that type of energy. I've never seen it. It was cool, man. The energy was dope. As much as I was livid because we were losing, the energy in the stadium was fun, was cool. People were getting into it. And I had never been to Jacksonville where there wasn't tarps in the upper deck, and this time it was full of people, man. It was pretty crazy, man.
Was the pool open? They got a pool, right?
Question. They do. I don't know. I'm not sure. We didn't see it. We didn't take a walk down that way because I think there are pools in the upper deck.
It is in the upper deck.
Yeah. So I didn't go up there. You know, we had them low bowl seats. You know what I'm saying? But bro, like, first off, I don't know how this stuff. Like when we had a conversation here a few months back, man, on one of the episodes, like how certain things are just super expensive, and I think we talked on like movie theaters, and we might have done sporting events, and we done stuff. Bro, it is out of reach, I think, for the average family of 4 or 5 or something to go see an NFL game. It's like almost an elitist thing.
About like $1,000 or more?
Yeah, easy. Because I would say I spent probably half of that just on tickets. Okay. And then when you're there, you want to eat and drink.
Yep.
Bro, a beer, say a Bud Light, was $15.50.
Yeah,
a Bud Light.
How
in
big was
Jacksonville? The cup? No, it was a can, but it was a tall can.
Still.
But still, it's a can of Bud Light, bro. It's $2, right?
No,
like it's just like
that shit better be a 32 ounce at least.
No, dude, it was. I mean, the tall can. But then if I got a cocktail, they gave you and the cocktail was actually cheaper somehow.
Okay.
And normally is what I go for is the cocktails. But then it's the cup. It's those tiny plastic cups that you get at the party, the clear ones.
Yep.
It was that, but the small one. It wasn't even like a solo cup size. It was like a tiny. Wow. And bro, I got at one point we got like a couple of little personal pan pizzas. I think we got personal pan pizzas. I don't know. We might have had 6 items in total. It was $100.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was $100 just for that. And then we went a couple of times to get some stuff. And
it's just 2 of you.
It's just 2 of us. So between the 2 of us, with parking, food thing, I probably spent almost $1,000. Or between the 2 of us, my brother, I bought food and stuff there too, and drinks. Between the 2 of us, it was probably $1,000.
Wow.
Because I would say
like said,
food, drinks there probably 200 to 300. So family of 4, you're spending 12 to 1,500, and that's if you want decent seats. You can maybe go sit in the upper deck. You're still gonna spend. I would say the cheapest ticket there. I don't think they had tickets under $100. I could be wrong. I don't think I saw any under 100 because even the ones that are 70, by the time they factor in fees, they're $100 a piece.
Right.
And then. Yeah, you figure. So even if let's say you find some for $70, a family of 4, I don't know what's that, $300 some dollars, and then you have to buy something to eat, drink, park, do all that shit. I'm like, all right, you're spending $600, like for us, something to do on a Sunday afternoon or whatever.
And then if you're not from there.
You're flying, you're traveling.
You're flying.
Like we made the drive. Back. We made the 2.5 hour drive from Orlando, whatever, over there, right? So yeah.
How was that? Did you drive back as well?
Yeah. So we drove there, drove back right after the game.
Was it bad driving back?
Nah, not at all, man. It took longer to get out of like the parking lot.
Yeah.
Once you got out of the parking lot, it was fine. Jacksonville is not the way it's laid out. I think I next time I know where to park. There's certainly people I think that knew, hey, I'm going to park here. I'm not from the city, so I parked somewhere where like a mile away from the stadium, and then I had to walk that mile.
Oh shit!
But even that, you're like, man, you're walking the mile, you're doing all that stuff. Like I went. We were talking before. I go, I'd rather watch the games at home. Yeah, I think there was cool. It was essentially a playoff game, so the energy,
the atmosphere,
yeah.
Dope, man.
And I think that would have been something. It was cool to have the Titan fans around us that we sort of got to like enjoy it with.
Yep.
And then the Jacksonville fans, we were just talking shit the whole time. And my poor brother, bro, was like, we're gonna die here, bro, because you know me, like I talk a lot of shit. So I think my brother was like, I know it's hard to believe, even when the mics aren't on, I still run my mouth. But like my poor brother is not one of those guys. My poor brother doesn't say much, and I'm just talking shit the whole time with people. And everybody was nice, but I think he's looking at me like, please shut the fuck up. Like you're gonna get us beat up here. It's like we're like walking in, the only Titans fan. We're wearing shirts and all that stuff. We're walking through, and people are talking shit. I'm yelling shit back. And he, I could just see it on his face, like we're gonna die here today.
I always remember when my boys that I grew up with in New York telling me about a time they went to Philly, and they went to see Philly against like I don't know, I forget. It doesn't matter. And it was in the old vet.
Oh, damn.
And where the old vet had a jail and a judge like on staff in the fucking stadium down at the bottom, and they could attest. And they told me a story where they were just like, yo, people talk so much shit to us. And one of my boys, he goes, yo, I was wearing an Urlacher jersey, which is an old Chicago Bear, right? He goes, they weren't even playing the Bears, but the year before, the Philly had beat the Bears in the playoffs.
Oh.
And he goes, yo, the nonstop shit talking to them, like literally his brother was like, yo, take the fucking jersey off, bro. Because like we're gonna end up fighting, and we're gonna go to jail,
bro. Even for us, the mile walk back to the car after they lost, mind you, and now everybody's hammered.
Now
everybody, you fucking losers, like yelling shit at us. And then there was people who come and like, yo, good game, like, doing stuff. Like there was people that were cool, and those people just yelling shit. Nobody got crazy. Like it was just typical, like
it ain't Philly.
No, yeah,
it's Jacksonville.
But it's funny, man. Anytime anybody talks shit, I'm like, shut the fuck up. You didn't even know you had a team 3 weeks ago.
Go find a tarp.
I was like, did you got a tarp to go put back on? Like, shut the fuck up. I was talking so much shit still, even after the loss. But it was cool, man. But the whole time I was thinking like, man, how out of reach is this for a lot of people, man? I'm like, if you want to do that a lot, it's crazy, man. I'm like, it's also I maybe I'm just getting grumpy my old age. I'm like, I'd rather watch sports at home anyway, but I think that just sort of cemented it for me.
But the playoff atmosphere is really
that you can't duplicate.
That you can't right. That you can't buy. It is also fun if you go out to like a I don't know like a sports bar where there is like high energy. Like we've been to ones where we go to see fights and everybody's fucking and everybody's like, hyped and shit, man.
Dude,
so that's dope.
I want to know. It's funny, man. I think now that the Titans are obviously out, there's a sports bar here in Orlando that I think is a Buffalo Bills sports bar.
Okay,
and I'm like, I think I'm gonna make it a point to go watch a Bills playoff game there with those people, man. Because I'm like, that's probably gonna be fun, man. We should do that.
Oh yeah,
like because I go, that'd be cool. Like you said, I want to watch it with like a fan base of theirs,
right? Like with them, I saw on what's the Andrew Schultz. Told a story about going to Morocco because Morocco was in the World Cup. And he went to Morocco to watch the game with other
they were like, we were gonna go to Qatar, but it's like, nah, let's go to Morocco and watch it with them
because they weren't supposed to be there, and then they weren't supposed to make it that far, but they did, so they wanted to go and experience like, we want to sort of like live and die with the team with the people that actually care.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. That would be cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I think I'd rather do that because go back to your Philly thing before, bro. I saw a Phillies game on like a Tuesday in the middle of the summer once. It wasn't even close to playoff time.
Yeah.
They were playing the Marlins, who were trash. And mind you, I live in Florida. Nobody goes to watch the Marlins here, bro.
Right.
This shit's fucking sold out. It's like Tuesday night. That's how little there is to do in Philly. And bro, the incessant shit talking in the stands and the fights that would break out, and I'm looking around, I'm like, yo, you guys are playing the Marlins, bro. Like, why is it
ain't that serious? The Marlins don't even care.
They were wilding out, man. Oh man, dude, I got we're already to hour 7 in, but hilarious. But I scalped tickets for that, right?
Yeah.
So I bought tickets, and I got sort of bamboozled. Not sort of. I got bamboozled because the guy he shows me the first 2 tickets, and then the third ticket. So let's say, just for an example, it seats 12, 13, 14, right? So he shows me the first 2. He kind of fans them, and all I see is like the 12, 13, 14. What I didn't realize was the one that was, let's say, 14 was a different section altogether in a completely different side of the stadium.
Yeah.
So I get into the stadium, bro, and we realize the seats aren't together. So 2 are together, 1 is on the opposite side of the stadium, and there's 3 of us. We got lucky. We just happened to slip into that section. You know how they check your tickets. Yep. Like, oh yeah, you're down here. Get in the seats. The row is like probably half empty maybe, but it's like 6 or 7 seats empty, but you're like, yo, this place is packed, people are gonna come, like,
right.
And so we're like, we'll just sit here, somebody comes, we'll just act stupid and we'll get up and go. Sat there the whole time, nobody wound up and made it through. And then it's funny, every time people would come and they would go down that road, we're like, fuck, filled up almost every seat, bro, except for the ones that we were in. And definitely shouldn't have been there, bro, because this guy, at one point I'm like, I'm not even sure these tickets are real, bro, because we couldn't get tickets, bro. I had to scalp them.
Yeah,
so I'm saying it's a Tuesday and they're playing the Marlins. I had to scalp fucking tickets. So we literally just showed up and we're like, we're just gonna walk around and find one of those guys selling tickets and buy tickets off. Yeah.
Philly got some good fans, man.
But it's a good story, man. It was a good time.
All right, man. I know we're hour 7 in or hour 10 in, whatever it is. How you want to end this, man?
Yo, man.
You got something with Hooters?
Yo, yeah, we gotta touch on this Hooters.
You want to end with Hooters?
We're gonna end with Hooters, man, because I call bullshit on this whole thing. I got a different theory. So Hooters is shutting down a lot of its stores, and they're re-strategizing because they're saying that studies show that millennials aren't that into boobs.
Really?
So that I say nay.
So what are they? I mean, are they into like ass? Maybe like lower body?
Yeah, I think they're saying that millennials are more into ass and they aren't into boobs. And yeah, so according to a recent study.
I mean, it's like tits and ass, right? So you go like, it's got to be one of those.
It's got to be one. Yeah, we got a 50-50 chance to get this right. I like eyes, Sean. It says, according to a recent study from the fine folks over at Pornhub, millennials are less interested in breasts than their elders. To be specific, Pornhub visitors between the ages of 18 to 24 are 19% less likely to search for breasts when compared to all other age groups. But visitors aged 55 to 64 are 17% more likely to search for boob-related material.
Wow.
I think that just has to do with the decrease in breastfeeding in like younger kids nowadays, bro.
I actually want to know, like, so then what are they searching for?
Yeah, right. It's like everything but that. That's what I'm saying because right, you have to. That's a good point.
It's only so much.
Because I hate the studies. It doesn't mean that we're less interested in boobs per se. It just means that there's so much other shit available that we're like looking for that. I don't know. Like, I also had a theory in this where I think that Pornhub. I think these guys are reaching and they're using, like, you know how you can make numbers tell a story and there's some executive at Hooters going like, look, they're not even going to it on porn. I actually think that your model is just outdated. First off, their food at Hooters is trash, right? And so you can't have trash food and then you can't offer me, like before it used to be, okay, you're offering this scantily clad woman serving me my meal and all that stuff or whatever it is. Like, why do I need that now if I have the internet? Why do I need to go see a fully clothed girl serve me a sandwich where I could go on Pornhub and go naked chick making a sandwich? You can see
with small boobs
and a big butt. Like, I think it's just your business model is just outdated. Like, I don't think the scantily clad thing does it for us anymore. It's like, I don't like you know, it's like the joke, like, I can go home and get teased for free. Like, why do I need a strip joint? It's like the whole idea that I'm gonna go to a place that serves bad food to get served by a girl wearing a tight top. It's like,
So what do they say? Are they gonna
figure out whatever their new strategy is?
Okay.
I guess, yeah, because they're saying that they used to have 430 locations and they're down to just 312. And
that's still respectable.
I think it's still a respectable amount, but I guess they're gonna figure out what the next thing is.
I just love that they went to Pornhub for the research.
Yeah.
Right?
How do you do that?
Typically, if you have a struggling business, you go to some like marketing agency, right? That kind of comes in and does an analysis on your, whether on your product, and it will tell you right. Like, I remember one of the companies we worked for before, we had some company come in and they did an analysis on the retail side.
Oh yeah,
remember that? And then they came back and they were just like, yo, like, from what we've seen, like, your demographic is like this older consumer.
Yeah.
Whereas the thought was that, or the belief was that we had a younger consumer.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, that's not what the data shows.
Which is interesting, man, because I feel like anecdotally that was obvious. Like, to me, anecdotally, when you did walk into some of those locations, you're like, oh no, we're clearly an older brand. And it was funny that we had to pay someone to tell us that. And it ain't cheap. Like, this guy, they probably did pay for the research. They probably paid some company $100K, and then that company just went on Pornhub and went, turns out
Pornhub said
millennials don't like boobs. And to that, nay. Bullshit.
And on that, tell them where they can find us.
Not at Hooters. Unless y'all want to cut that check, then we'll go there. We'll have some shrimpy wings. All right, anyway, if you're not already following us, we're at the Carbon Food Podcast on Instagram, the Carbon Food Podcast on YouTube, at Carbon FP on Twitter, Carbon Footprint Pod on TikTok, and everywhere where you like to listen to your music and your podcast, man. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, GeoSavin, Ghana, Podchaser, Pocket Cast, all of it, man. So Amazon Music, yeah. So if it's out there, we're on there. Thanks for the love. Keep doing it. Listen, subscribe to the whole nine. Make the drink. Let us know what y'all think. It's been a while, man. We've been slacking on the drink recipe on our IG, so we'll get back to that too.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that we haven't been having drinks.
Yeah.
Just means we ain't been posting.
In case you ain't noticed the topic, we've talked about Hooters twice in the last 2-3 weeks. Like that don't tell you we've been drinking. I don't know what else to tell you.
As always, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.